to ask her not to ratify the Treaty of Nice. Those peers are known. You can Google just those few words and you'll get newspaper articles with their names. Would it not be prudent for this council, who have sought the advice of our MPs, etc., to perhaps seek the advice of those lords to find out why they actioned Chapter 61 of the Magna Carta, and whether they feel we have a duty as a town council or as representatives of the people to join them in whatever action they're taking.
Hear it.
Can I just state that the fact is, and you've been given the information, that Article 61 has been invoked. It was invoked on the 23rd of March 2001. You've been given that information. Because under the British Constitution, everybody has the duty to stand under that article. If you don't do so, then it's a criminal offence.
Sorry, but I think we've finished now.
Well,
can we just go? I think
the public are going to know where you don't stand and where you do stand.
Council Cousins and this council will get together and we'll actually discuss what is that.
You have acquiesced every time I've asked you where you stand, sir.
Well, please, I told you I'm not here to discuss that with you. If you want to discuss it with somebody, you should discuss it with people.
You're public servants.
You're
supposed to stand under the British Constitution.
Be very careful what you're saying.
You're supposed to stand under the British Constitution.
Can you be quiet, please? What I'm saying to you, sir, is that if you can talk to the right people, we're not the right people.
Well, you also have a duty to stand under the Constitution.
Your worship.
We haven't got a constitution.
We have a Constitution. You got government propaganda, sir. What do you think the Bill of Rights is? The Declaration of Rights? Magna Carta? The original Constitution?
Yeah, someone needs to do some research.
You're being misinformed, sir.
Can we have some control here?
Yes.
We've had these meetings.
So what
These
we
meetings
bitch.
that Councillor Cousins is talked about, and some of the other guys here may want to be involved in that. That's as far as we're going.
You have a duty to stand under the Constitution, sir. And you have a duty to do that.
I wish to carry on with the meeting. Okay.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Thank you,
We haven't even started yet.
I would like to reiterate that I have asked for a meeting, so something will be done. We will discuss the trade agreement.
Yeah, but that's not about the
Following on from that,
Can you please sit down?
when
and let the
everyone
lady finish?
understands exactly what it is that we are concerned about,
Yeah, but it's not.
hopefully this council will become so concerned about that that we will then move forward and have the discussion about Agenda 21 with the barons that we will invite.
You are missing Article 61 every time when you speak. I'm talking about Article 61, lawful rebellion.
You're talking about Green Party propaganda you're trying to pull on that.
Can we now
No, just spoke for 20 minutes on a symbol. My goodness.
Come on, let's have some quiet.
Councillor Cousins made the point that four lords have decided to take part in some rebellion or something else. There's some 600 lords.
You've been given the information, Councillor.
There's 600 odd lords, I believe, and if there's four of them, then it's not much of a position that they're taking. And if they feel that strongly about it, they're entitled to it. If you feel that strongly about it, you're entitled to it. We may not, I personally may not feel the same way as you, I'm entitled to that. It's a democracy where we all
You have a duty to stand under the Constitution, sir.
I have no duty other than to try and reason as what I see
The
process
protocol
and make a judgment.
Chapter 61, the protocol says they follow the protocol exactly. That more barons.
We're moving on to their announcements, okay?
Lucky, dude.
I
don't know, you're getting there. Yeah, the phone just went all funny. So
quiet, please. We're moving on to the mayor's announcements, okay?
it is shameful.
Quislings a lot.
Should be ashamed of
We're
having
moving on to the
conscience.
announcements, Councillor.
Public
Can I just
servants.
say that I had a couple of copies from Councillor Andrews, which I've lost. Can you send it down? Can you send it down?
Well, you've given them papers to read, but they haven't actually bothered to read it, and they actually really know what's going on.
What I would advise is that the next election run to be in the council, so that we have some different people understanding.
Some younger people maybe in this council.
Absolutely, but maybe a council full of lawful rebellion.
Yeah, because talking about fucking parking spaces and all these things, do you know, it's like there's so many issues that really need to be sorted. We're wasting 2 hours talking about fucking emblems and things, you know, it's just completely crazy.
I apologise for the emblem, because that's my issue. That is an equal opportunities issue, which the emblem isn't really the issue. The issue is equal opportunities. Anyway.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's like this should have been the primary thing to talk about today. And even ask the councillors, if you don't quite understand what we're talking about, if you're not quite aware of what's going on, we're going to give you another leaflet with all the stuff to watch, all the stuff to get acquainted with.
The mayor closed the conversation down, didn't he?
Yeah, and also they should be aware that in the Telegraph a couple of days ago, there is someone in Parliament, I can't remember who, was actually, it's quite ridiculous the way he's saying it, but basically he's prepared, is considering revealing quite a lot of names of paedophiles within Parliament. Considering, it shouldn't be considered, it should just be done, but that's just proving my point that it is actually now a fact that this government is fucking full of paedophiles. So that, people that work for the government should be aware of that, because why would you want to work for the mafia dealing with drugs on kids on the market? I mean, that's just completely. They're criminals. They're just like an organised crime. The government is an organised crime.
And it was John.
And they're the best place to do it, because who's gonna say anything? They've got the army behind them. But we've got to challenge that, because this is not a fucking joke. It's coming, But they really have to be aware of it. I think it's completely ridiculous, But the one thing I was going to say tonight, unfortunately I didn't have the chance to say, but what I was going to say is if you think you can be bought, with money for bribery, or keeping your mouth shut for fracking, or for anything, that they might give you money to, so that you can have a comfortable life, don't give a shit about anyone else. What they need to realise is that their conscience is going to follow them wherever they go, and one day it's going to slap them in the fucking face. And I'm sure they already know that. They need to be told that. Because nobody should be higher than anyone else. The head of the fucking queenship should be removed for a start.
I totally support that. But there we are. At least I've got the full achievement of the Royal Coat of Arms removed from our coat of arms.
Well, thank God, that's one thing, yeah.
It's just part of the anyway.
But you know what I'm saying is there's so many things that needs to be sorted on this. It's not even a joke, I mean, half of them, they're complete half-wits.
And it was only you that actually, as far as I could see, actually bothered to get him to talk about that.
On Councillor Michelle as well.
Article.
She's quite on it with tea, at least.
And to actually say we've got no constitution. Oh my goodness.
I did correct him in the end.
I know you did. Well
There's
done.
the British
But then
Constitution.
not to write it down.
That was me. That's my joke.
It's mental.
That's all right.
I mean, he held
And do you know there was a gentleman there who was speaking very nicely. You know the guy that had a lot to do with that coat of arms thing that you were talking about?
Yeah.
And he was saying down there, why are you bothering here? Why are you doing your MPs and that? Really? They're all having it away with kids. I've tried to do the MP thing. I'm sure you have, haven't you?
Yes,
I've done outside the Houses of Parliament, and now they're doing a big exclusion zone around it, so you can't just turn up and try and lobby it.
Yeah, well, we're free thinkers, we're
So we
dissenters,
can't-
we're terrorists, we're
If
the
we
new
can't
terrorists.
talk to people who are the people who represent the people on this lower level to help us, then what?
In the local level, yeah.
What
It's the only
hope
way you
is
can do it.
there?
Yeah.
And if they're not going to get on board, well, we have to do things like that, So, it's not, I mean, my role is at home,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
We're just two nannies, that's what we are, Deb, aren't we? Two nannies.
So what's going to happen
You
at
can't
the
afford
meeting?
to run
What's
something
going to
in
happen
the
quite
mindset.
quickly? Because Councillor Michelle suggested there should be a meeting about TIC really soon. I mean, is it going to happen before the 1st of November? I mean, what?
It would have to happen.
You will have to, because
So
that's
how
when
are
it
we going to
comes in.
become aware of what's going on? Because
That's
I don't want to
no-
come to that
That's why I'm
meeting.
concerned.
We're all concerned for our children, our grandchildren.
Well, believe it or not, I tried to actually study this today. Didn't even manage to write one line down. Split up with my girlfriend and had to get all my shit out of my face before coming out. So I came in, no preparation, nothing. It was just had to talk straight from the heart.
That was a moving speech.
No, you had me in tears nearly actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
we're all
yourself in
there,
tears.
aren't we? We're all there with you. We're all frustrated, no one's listening.
We're banging our heads.
All this worshipness. What's it called? Your worship? Your worship? Oh, and then to turn around and say, oh, I can't do anything. Well, why are you called your worship then?
Exactly, you're there to do something.
The mayor, for goodness sake.
I wish we could, you know.
I know, the mayor who says there's no constitution is really shout treason. Treason!
That's my feeling about that.
Somebody said so around
Under
that.
the Constitution, an Act of Parliament took us into Europe. An Act of Parliament can take us out of whatever treaty we sign. So that's all it takes.
One actual claim, and proven claim of treason would knock out all the treaties. The government are right. They say that treason is an unproven claim. But they won't give you money in court. They won't for 2 years.
You know why they can't.
Well, exactly, because I can prove the claim. And this is where I'm at my wit's end, because there's nowhere else I can go but go to the people, which is what I've done in Glastonbury, and now taking on the local council. It's the only thing that is open to us, because
You're meant to look after us.
Nicholson's ignored all the emails. There's central government.
Of course, I'm going to do it.
All we want, John,
Anyway,
is for the public to be notified instead of being kept secret all the time. Right? Nobody knows what's happening. Nobody knows about these sorts.
Keep saying
Or let's say 98% of people on the streets don't know about what's going on.
Some of them their glasses.
He talked to loads of people about this
Well,
sort of
it
stuff.
certainly there's the journalist was here from the paper, one right to the paper, and there'll be stuff in an article in the paper right to the
But
paper.
the papers have been held back from bringing the truth.
They're all getting D notices.
What do you think the central subject?
Well, if you have a look, what's happened in the past, there was an article in one of the papers, I think it could have been The Guardian or something like that, and it was where one of the reporters was saying, is this becoming a police state? And they got a cartoon underneath, a great big beefy copper, big fat belly, big growly jaw sort of thing, holding this little sort of press guy up in the air, and it says, is this becoming a police state when the press cannot report what's happening and being threatened by arrest from our police? What
You
is
don't
going
get
on?
a job, you don't get to work for all
So
the
as I
people.
say, you've got press people that are saying, we're threatened by the police and we will be arrested.
You've got to say what they want you to say, otherwise you don't work as a journalist.
Murdoch and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I would personally, I would think that all corporations should be made unlawful full stop. Anyway, guys, I'm going to...
So the next thing, it's going to be the National Health Service is going to end up privatised. Anyway.
I was really touched by your...
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I went to actually write all this down and stuff today, but I didn't.
Oh.
I love you loads, put it in your own life.
Oh, can I have a go?
Yeah, she's always up for her.
Thank you so much.
Well, yeah.
We all care about this today.
John, we all care about this place.
So how do you become an MP then? How do you become an MP?
Because you wanted to make a change from the inside.
Yeah, but how do you become an MP then? Or how do you do that? How do you do that?
You couldn't stand for lawful rebellion. You could get elected, but if you have to sign an oath to the Queen, don't you, when you're elected? So at that point, when the ship's paid or elected, they could not take their seats. Because they couldn't sign allegiance to the Queen. So that's how it was.
Oh, right, so it's already gathered from where it goes, then you have to sort an allegiance. So therefore it's sort of a scam already to start with, because why would you swear an allegiance to anyone, to somebody who's not even lawfully?
Well, yeah, but if you look at what happened in Northern Ireland, now, because of the Sinn Féin stance, they don't have to swear allegiance to the Queen in Northern Ireland anymore. So it will change. It changes. It just needs some people to stand up like you're standing up.
So I could send a legend to the Queen, but deep down I don't really give a shit. Just to be some mechanism like connect from being within, and I can say, look, this fucking bitch needs to be removed, right? Like right now. You know?
You could do that.
Yeah.
Have a lovely rest of your evening.
Good night, John. By the way, John, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations as well.
Congratulations, man.
Oh, that was a bold statement.
Then put me to recess.
Oh, dreams.
So I can't back up.
Bless you, Gary. Good old dreams.
Because folks, are you on your way to
These are lovely police constables.
I'll sit down, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you on your way to office today, sir?
I'll be on the road from office.
Yes.
Good. Right, PCS out of pocket, PCS02 Richards, both on the street police station. How you doing?
Thanks,
Oh, hi.
Right, we've simply been sent over here to find out what's going on. That's it.
Well, we have been lobbying the council under Article 61 of Magna Carta and the treasonous peace treaty which is being implemented in this country on the 1st of November this year, and they've acquiesced. So what we've done is to force the issue by taking the building under Article 61. So I've seized the building.
Okay.
Okay.
You're going to know a lot more than Article 61. They're not an exponentially
All right. Well, this is constitutional law. It's been invoked. The evidence is clear, and we have the duty to stand in law for rebellion, all of us, new governments.
What are you rebelling about?
We're rebelling about the Nice Treaty, which is taking over the EU. It's going to take over the powers of the police. You guys as well are going to be under the European Union, Euro Gen 4.
Being governed by the European police.
Yeah, now that is treason. That's a simple case of treason.
Yeah.
We have no foreigners on the authority in this land. And this is what we're here doing, and this is why we're protesting this. We're trying to get the...
Protect everybody's rights.
We've been to central government and stuff, and they're not listening. The police, Nicholson's ignoring me now. All the councillors...
Do you expect Nicholson was aware that this was happening tonight?
Probably not, but the police never turned up to the meeting tonight, and they're usually here.
The reason for that, I was going to attend the meeting, but obviously you wouldn't be aware, there's quite a few incidents out of Magna Street and High Street with people generally trying to fight, so unfortunately that took priority to coming to it.
We were disappointed you weren't there. I
do apologise, unfortunately people are swinging punches at me on the street.
So, look guys, what we're going to do, because we're acting under the constitutional law here by doing this. Now, if you act against us on this, technically that is
committing treason.
Okay, right, okay. So your intention is just to stay here until you're...
Well, we seize the building until...
To be quite honest with you, we've been trying to go through the council to be able to notify the British public of what's happening, right? There's been a total news block on all of this, right? Newspapers and TV. So the British public can't get in to find out. So we've tried to do it through political means and everything else going through our own town council. I had a word with the council tonight. Basically, I was talking to them about the TTIP. You know the TTIP, guys?
I haven't said that.
No.
Should get acquainted with it.
I'll just quickly tell you. TTIP, what this is about, it's a trade treaty that's been agreed with America and Europe. Now, the thing is, this is where
So it's happening with your laptops.
I'm sorry.
it's the battery. And just
down.
when you lovely boys are here.
YouTube famous, come on.
By the way, there's blood sockets in here if you want to flip it in.
I haven't brought the thing with me.
Yeah, well, basically, what
Got
TTIP
10%.
is, it's a bilateral treaty that's been going on between America and Europe. Now, the thing is with this treaty, it protects the investors, right? The investors come first. What's happened in Canada is because Canada's turned down the fracking over there, the fracking companies have now sued the Canadian government for not having fracking.
And we know what fracking does.
Yeah. Now, in Germany, the Germans actually turned down nuclear power because of the Fukushima disaster. So now they're being sued under this treaty and everything else. It's where governments get sued massive amounts. They come out of our public purse.
And this is all
Now,
corporations.
Yeah, now the thing is, at this minute, right, it's not going ahead until November the 1st it goes in fully. Exactly the same as us coming under Europe.
Yeah.
Unless we get people to understand what is happening in this country so they can turn around and say, well, we don't agree with this because this is going to privatise our national health and everything else. It's going to make it so that all the corporations are going to be absolutely beyond the law, untouchable.
Yeah.
And it means that basically you guys aren't going to be able to do your job as a policeman on
Yeah, you're not
the
going to
street.
be all police
You're going to be told
constables.
to do by Europe.
Yeah.
And Europe, oh, excuse me a second, one at a time. European law, right, is actually habeas corpus, right? Which means you are guilty until proven.
No, that's
No.
it's
It's corpus juris, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get it right. I'm Latin, I'm not the SS.
That's a lot to remember.
It is a lot to remember. But basically, you're guilty until proven innocent in the European court and everything else. In this country, we have your innocence until proven guilty. We don't want to lose that in our constitution. We don't want to be sold out to a foreign country.
What they're doing
So what happened in 2001, there was a Treaty of Nice, Treaty of Nice went ahead in 2001. The barons themselves, right, who, if you remember right in the Magna Carta and everything else, right, the barons actually told the king that he would be thrown out unless he actually abided by these rules. And all our coronations and everything of all our kings and queens in this country have had to go down this line and have had to swear allegiance to this. Now the thing is anybody who stands against this seems the barons of brought in Article 61, right, is committing treason. And our Queen herself, by what she's doing, is actually committing grand treason against her people, which she swore on the coronation oath to serve us as a people.
She breached many times.
She did.
She's not the Queen anymore.
Anyway, she never been.
And she's actually under the Maastricht Treaty, she's been regulated as a citizen of Europe.
What I'll do, because you're firing so many...
Yeah, no, so lots of I understand. Yeah.
To try and remember all that's going to be off of...
If you want to just take a quick look at Magna Carta, you want to take a quick look at Article 61,
We've got other officers coming over who are much more senior than we are.
Oh, brilliant.
We were...
They're the ones,
Yeah, brilliant.
We were sent over to see, what your expectations are as to why you're here, how you're going to leave, or if you're going to leave.
Well, we'd like to get this to the British public, so that the
We
British
feel
public
we
can see what's happening.
choice but to make a stand.
We've tried everything, every avenue,
Somewhere
we've
after the
tried
turn,
this.
we're being run by a corrupt criminal government, which are pedophiles, most of them anyway, and they're being protected, and it's slowly coming out, slowly things are happening, but the public is still completely unaware about November the 1st, and that has to come out.
What we want is this incident logged.
Yeah.
For a start.
It's certainly already logged.
What we do from this point is going to be a matter of diplomacy. Lawfully, you can't evict us from your building because you'll be breaching constitutional law.
And it's also our building.
It's a public thing.
Thanks for allowing us in your building.
Yeah, it belongs to us, doesn't it?
It's like you're telling me you guys...
But we could leave under duress, but we're not. We're not just going to give up on this. We've tried. I've tried to lobby.
This isn't going to get out of hand until we make
No,
this.
I'm here, I'm kind of witnessing. We're grannies.
We're no threat to you. And the girls ain't going to be, well, there might be a threat to you, but I don't think so.
She's a secret ninja at the back. She's not
Well, she's about to pull one of her things out.
We'll be back in a minute.
Yeah,
thank you.
We want people to care about each other, and not having a hierarchy, people thinking they're better than each other, and the bankers ruining this country, the Vatican running the world. We need to make a sign to tell you we love you, and we're all equal, and the public needs to know what's going on.
We will be back in a second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Who wants to tell me what's what then?
I'll tell you.
No, clear as witnesses.
My name's David Robertson. First of all, I need to ask you, are you on your oath of office?
Sorry?
Are you standing under your oath today?
Under my oath?
Yes.
Well, I'm working.
So are you under your oath today? That's what I'm asking.
I'm working at the moment.
You can answer my question.
You haven't answered anything yet.
I'm just asking you, are you under your oath today? You're standing under your oath. You said. Okay, so you are. Right, what we've done is we've been trying to lobby the council here about the impending occupation of our country by the Nice Treaty on the We've also been through other channels, central government and stuff, and we've been ignored. So what we've done here tonight is we've seized the building under Article 61 of Magna Carta 1215. You can check out
What, sorry?
about Magna Carta 1215, which was invoked on the 23rd of March 2001.
Right.
So this is part of our British Constitution, it's part of our lawful duty to seize properties and stuff, because we are not getting any redress from the treatment that's being committed in this country.
Right.
So we've been forced into making this action.
What was the reaction from the Glastonbury Town Council?
Well, they don't want to talk to us about it.
They're scared.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't feel like they have any power at all, that it has to go a lot like that.
Because the criminal law was paying their paychecks at the end of the month, and they're working for criminal government, so they're in a position which is a bit difficult, but you know, we have solutions.
Okay. What do you want them to do then?
Well, we want.
We've been having meetings with them now. This is the third meeting.
Right.
Right, this is the third meeting we've had, so this has been over 3 months.
Yeah.
That we're trying to get our town council to actually see what's going on. I mean, do you guys know about TTIP?
Not myself, no, I
Let's
can't speak for everybody.
Let's not go down that road, because this is mostly about...
Okay, then fair enough.
Sorry,
Well, just
you're
to
right,
explain
that's part of
what's
it,
going on.
that's part of the big agenda.
Which act did you say you're using to see if they're going to start?
Article 61 of Magna Carta 1215.
61.
Yeah, Article 61.
This is the security clause, that was
Have
in...
you got a copy of it? 61 of
Not on me, no.
No, sorry.
Well,
Article 61 of...
Article
Magna
1215, make sure it's not
Yeah, that's Magna
1297.
Carta.
It's a statute version.
Right.
Okay, quite unusual to do this,
What do you
obviously.
intend to do here tonight then?
Well, we've made a statement.
Yeah.
Well, we seized the building. It's more of a case of what do you intend to do, because if you act against the British Constitution, you actually have to be treason.
Okay, well, we haven't said that we're supposed to do anything
No, I know.
We're just trying to establish what is happening here and how we can help
Yeah, well,
the town hall and there. I mean,
yeah,
obviously they need to secure the premises for the night.
yeah,
We can't stay here all night.
no.
Because obviously if you're not committing any offences, we're not here to deal with you.
We're not even trespassing because we're here for lawful reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we're,
understand that. And
Now,
that's what we're doing.
we're not here to cause any damage, to cause any threats to anybody.
No.
We're here to make a statement. And we're here,
Glastonbury town
Yeah.
residents,
Yes.
are you?
Yeah.
well, some of us are, but most of us are.
Okay.
So we're here making this stand for the British Constitution because we're about to lose our constitutional rights and freedoms. You guys aren't being told about this,
And
are
our
you?
police, we're going to lose
And
our
you're going to be
police.
standing under the European Euro Gen 4. You're not going to be, this is treason, you're not going to be standing under the British rule of law anymore. Well, like you do now, because we're in a treasonous regime. You're going to be standing under the EU are going to have control over the British police. Now that's a very dangerous situation for any country, especially this country, because they've been trying to take this country since what? The Second World War. Now this, the EU was set up by the United Nations, the same people that are bringing in Agenda 21, which is basically a program to cull and to put people into total serfdom. Not that we are now almost, but this is going to get a lot worse under Agenda 21 now. Like I said, the UN created the EU by the Bilderberg Group. Now you've probably heard of them because they're not so secret anymore. And this has all been a long-term plan to take over this country by stealth, and they're doing it fiscally by legislation rather than bullets this time.
Okay. guys want to intend to do tonight?
Well, I'm intending to seize the building.
You've done that?
Well, we've done it now. Basically, we seize the building,
Yeah.
and we're deciding that we're going to stay here until we can get this public.
Well,
Maybe it be press, whether it be
People
TV, no matter what, because we've only got till November the 1st.
So what happens if...
And you guys from...
What happens if... Well, how long are you going to keep the building?
As long as it needs to be until we manage to
The
get
thing is,
the
they're going to bring you around,
public.
they
So
not bring
the
TV, it'll be a waste of time.
Say again?
As the thing is, they may not bring the TV or whatever, they can't
Well,
use it, you just sit here and
Well, I'm
then
going to
we might
be
not
trying to mainstream media.
But at the end of the day, we can get the media to come down here and talk to us about this, and we can also get Tricia Tessamont, to come down here and talk to us about this.
Well,
because
Tessamont won't come down here. This is what the town council have asked her to come down and talk about Agenda 21 and the Lisbon Treaty. She won't come down.
You contact the media to come here?
Not yet.
When are you going to do that?
We haven't before.
The media was here earlier.
No,
They've been, have they?
That was the Guardian, wasn't it? We've got it all on video, so it's going viral on the internet anyway.
Okay, so you can put that on the internet
Yeah.
without staying here for the rest of the night then?
Well, we could too, but you know, this is a matter of.
If we all go home, it's all going to get forgotten about.
Yeah.
1st November comes, you're going to get taken over,
It's
right? By the European police. They're going to be telling you what to do on our streets. That's not on, mate.
Okay.
We haven't lost this
I'm not
country
arguing
through.
with your
No,
views
no,
or
no.
anything else.
No, we haven't. What I'm saying is we haven't lost this country through war.
Like in any
Can't
reason,
be
all the
like
time.
Can I speak as well? At the end of the day, what will happen is, you may have an order to do something at this present moment in time. You're meant to be on the English law, common law, yeah. In this country, we're innocent until proven guilty, yeah. It's going to be the opposite. Everybody's going to be guilty until proven innocent. So that's quite a big thing. Also, what that means is that if you're so scared that you're not going to get paid, you may consciously, just in your own conscience, do something you don't really want to do. If your government tells you go and arrest that person, even though you know yourself they're not guilty of anything, but because you're so scared, because you want that money, and they're going to force you to basically become proper order followers.
You guys obviously know loads and loads about all this stuff. We obviously haven't spent time researching
No.
this.
Well, the
so
thing
we
is,
can't
we've
comment.
notified the police.
Yeah,
We've sent them
you-
So we
videos.
use the whole, but individually,
No,
guys,
we have sent local
Well,
police. Hold on.
not all of us, some of
Okay,
us are.
well, I
Give us your names on
notified,
phone,
excuse me,
reasons one at a time.
I'll let John.
I've notified Inspector Nicholson.
Yeah.
And I sent him 2 different sets of information on computer disk and literature, and he promised on the email to prove it to pass it around with to the constables under his direction.
Okay.
He's failed to do
Can
that.
I just construct on that? Most of the Magna Carta Acts, including the Article 61 that you're quoting to me,
It's not been revealed.
have been superseded by the Act. Have you got it in writing so I can see?
It can't be superseded
Can't
because
be.
it tells you in
Have
Magna
you got it?
Carta
Have
it
you got
cannot
it?
be overridden by statutes or anything else. It's something that's set up to protect things that we should
Sir,
have.
I'm asking you if you have that in writing.
Yeah, we can get it. Do you want to fix it on your computer?
Are you prepared to give it to me?
Yes.
You are. Just take your name.
Well, I'm prepared to give you my name. My name's David Robbins. What you'll find is when you investigate, that's hearsay, so no. What you'll find is when you talk to government about...
Well, at the end of the day, my name is Gary Butlin, if you want to actually look into it. Butlin, of the family of Butlin. Well, basically, at the end of the day, that's hearsay again, because basically I don't know.
You don't have an opinion, you've got an opinion. I know.
Because I'm not above the law.
Okay.
You're told that you can't investigate anything that political.
Okay. What I want to do is I just want to know exactly what your intentions are. Obviously, you've said about the media, you've already got them here, you've recorded stuff, and you have stuff to release on the internet, which you've already said that's what you do. But
We're not seeing the issue. I don't know.
we're not going to stay with
Well, we
you.
don't know, because we're forcing the issue here. I mean, are you going to arrest us for what we're doing? So I don't know. This is what I'm saying. So if we see the building, let's just say, oh,
No, we're only here to witness.
you know, we've
It's
got
up
to
to
make a
you that you
statement.
can or
You're not going to stay here with us.
just say you're witness.
We're not trespassing.
No,
But what about the guy that was going to his wife?
What you guys are going to cause, because we can't stay here all night, because obviously we have a lot of other stuff to do.
Well, our
lives are the most precious thing we have, and this is what we're trying to say.
Excuse me, I have an issue under calling this guy out loss and heart, because that which is the common law.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've got to make this stand, guys. I mean, what else? You know, we've tried everything else.
And then obviously the caretaker's there, he wants to go home.
Well, no.
We look after him, we feed him,
But then he locks away, then there's a fire, and you've got a fire risk. And then what you achieve is nothing.
Well, you should have fire alarm.
We're not going to be having fires or anything.
Well,
no smoke anyway.
So we've got that opportunity, that's what I think people to know as well.
Well, if you want to, and you will need the key within my care, right, I will give you my name, address, my telephone number, and I'll produce documents on them now to do that. And I live in this town, and I'm a man of honour. And you can check out the police in this area, I am a man of honour.
This is a very difficult situation, because we don't want to cause any breach of the peace. We just want...
We don't want anything global like either.
We know we're not committing any criminal offences, we know what we're doing, we have the right to be here, and we understand that you are trying to make yourselves heard, and that is very difficult.
It is very difficult, yeah.
But...
It's going to get worse if the person remember, they're going to come shut
Okay,
yeah.
what I can see is you've made your point, you've had us out here, you've got the media out here, you have seized the building, you've done what you wanted to achieve, but all you're going to do by continuing this tonight is inconvenience the caretaker, who is just doing his job. He doesn't want to be here all night while we're waiting for his family.
We all want to go home.
That's why I'm saying...
Exactly, I'm sure all you...
I will take responsibility for myself for the building.
I know, but unfortunately that's probably not a realistic option.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do then. I'm going to state to you that I want to talk with... I want an interview with Nicholson. He's ignoring my emails. I want to promise that he's going to give me an interview. Whether that's now, I don't care.
Why not?
If you want
Now
to
is a
find
good
something
time.
out, I can hand it to him, because he'll not be on duty.
No, we need to talk face to face.
No, I want the guarantee that he's going to speak to me, because he's been ignoring me, and this is unacceptable. He's a public servant. He has a duty of care to his
It's going to be something else, not the crown on the
Attend the police station and wait there until because he works from Wells Police Station.
But he's ignoring my emails. He's likely to ignore my knock on the door.
So why don't you get him to come and talk to us now?
Yeah.
Because he's not on duty.
Well,
And we have a right to a private life the same as everybody else has.
All right, then we will stay here until he's on duty and can come down and talk to us direct face to face.
Okay, but do I know he could be on leave? And what about...
Well, if he's on leave, we will wait until he comes back from leave, but we will sit down at his table and talk.
This is a very important matter that we're dealing with. I don't
It's
care
for
if
you,
people...
we're doing that for everybody. We love everybody.
Please, Araya.
I know, but you're talking, I want to talk as well.
Look, don't talk over me, please,
Not talking
because
over
it's
you,
very
but I like to be
rude.
able to talk as well.
Look,
You know?
they can't hear two people at once.
I know, but I have to be able to talk as well, sorry.
You want to speak to Mark Nicholson?
I want to speak to, I want to talk with Mark Nicholson, yeah. That's my ultimatum, if you like.
Right.
Is there any particular reason it's Inspector Mark Nicholson, not
Yeah.
another inspector?
Yeah, it's because Mark Nicholson, I emailed, I sent him all the information on the computer disk and literature as well about the letters between the monarch and the banned petition to prove that I was considered. He promised to hand out all the information to the constables under his direction, and at the last council meeting, the two constables that were there, I can't remember the names of the guys, Jewish name, and the other guy, so they hadn't even seen it. So I've emailed him and said I'm very disappointed in what we've not done, he promised to do, and he's not responding to my email. So this is a recent meeting.
Yeah. Alright, we're going to need you to, so good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Lovely. It's lovely. Oh, please do.
Thank you very much.
You see in America when it's like police goes into
Okay.
We got other things to do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
No, I'm going to have to come and talk to the caretaker. Yeah, so right, we've seized the town council at Glastonbury tonight. The police have been called and they've decided that we're not committing any criminal offence, and so they've left. Now, we have a moral obligation here, because what we're doing is we're causing the caretaker a loss or harm. by, he wants to go to his wife and his dinner. And so we've got a bit of dilemma. We could stay here, we seize the building, or we could leave under duress to save breaching the common law and causing this guy unnecessary loss or harm. So we're in debate about this. We're going to talk to the caretaker in a minute, and hopefully up here, so you'll be able to see what's going on. I'd say that's
We ought to get the press onto this.
You need to find them before you go anywhere.
Well, I was thinking we should get them in now.